We don't know what noise a penguin makes, but the penguin's been making a lot of noise. So here on Fog Entertainment, we put up a poll. What was the best character from the Penguin Season 1 premiere? Welcome back to the channel. Episode 2 will be around shortly. 103 votes whipped in to gear here. And it seems like all you guys liked the Oz. You liked the Penguin. You liked Big Colin. Whatever his name is, Colin Farrell.
Wannabe.
He is a Tony Soprano wannabe. I actually think it's quite pathetic how much they ripped off Tony. But you know what? They're half admitting it. So I'll agree with it. We have to.
Are they ripping him off or are they paying homage though?
But it's not even set in the same universe. You know what I mean? I guess you could say that's even worse, but it's just a bit cheap in my opinion. But you know what? Before we get to the Penguin, before we get to Oz, we have to begin in last place, and we have got Salvatore Maroni.
Right, I think Salvatore Maroni might just be in last place because they only had one scene in the premiere.
Yep.
I actually did enjoy the character, but compared to the other three, he had a lot less screen time, so therefore I could accept him being, lowest in the poll. But hopefully going forward we see more of him, although he is currently locked up behind bars, so that kinda makes me question how much this guy will see going forward. If we'll see him at all. I'm hoping he has a prominent role, because I do think he came across as a good character, but again, when you're locked up inside, it does limit what you can do.
No, it does limit what you can do, and maybe they've just set this guy up so we're introduced to the Maroni family, so we can get like a name behind the tax and things like that. Here, I think he's certainly not the worst character on this list, because we'll get to him in a wee bit later on, but for me, Salvatore, he was in one scene. He doesn't look like he's going to be an integral part of the plot. But again, that doesn't necessarily mean he was bad. So I think 2% is very harsh. But again, is what it is. Moving in to third spot, I think this guy's by far the worst character, Victor. It's just a shy teenager that had barely any lines. There's not much to it.
Yeah, he's been kept around. I was going to say by Tony. He's been kept around by Oz, basically repaying his debt. He tried to steal Oz's car. He tried to steal the tires. So now Oz is like, well, I own you, bitch, kinda.
Yeah,
That's what they're doing now.
But would you agree? I feel like this kid's just in here, and it just feels cookie cutter. Like the generic teenager that has to tag along with the reckless and ruthless adult against his will. We've seen this story a million times, and it just feels shoehorned in there. Like, really? Would some mobster guy connected to a family, the consigliere, the guy that's just died, be running around with some 15-year-old kid in Gotham?
Probably not.
I mean, what about the crew that Oz is in? Was he not got any guys that were loyal to him?
Yeah, how can he expect to be at the top of the chain or whatever when this is the only guy that?
Like, is he as Tony Soprano died, right? Which this show bases a lot off. Would Silvio, Polly, and Chris and co start hanging around with 14-year-olds?
And that's their only backup?
Yeah, no, to me, there's nothing to this kid. The scenes didn't light me up. I mean,
maybe we'll get
when it's
more
him
characters.
and Oz on screen, it's all about Oz. I thought the scene where he was the one that, he drove the car in, he made it look like the Maroni family. To me, it's like, how could this kid that doesn't know anything about this life, apart from stealing the wee wheels off of cars, he's brilliant. Like, I mean, how could he set up this masterful plot to make it look like that guy done it? Oh, it was a nice touch, he put the finger in, I didn't put the whole body in. Oh, I was hacking him up and I was doing this, Oz, and nah, not for me. Anyway, second spot belongs to Sofia Falcone. 15% of the vote. I thought she was a pretty decent character and looks set to be a decent antagonist for this show.
Is she going to be an antagonist, though? I mean, we don't really know. I mean, technically, you could argue Oz is the antagonist.
You could argue that.
They're all antagonists, I guess.
I guess Oz is, but we're few from his point of view. He's like the anti-hero. She's the bad guy to him, but she could be the good girl to him at the same time. You get where I'm coming from? But for a Sofia Falcone, I thought she made a pretty decent impact in the show, but what you could compare to
Disappointed that her brother died so early, though, 'cause I thought he had potential. But
he did, but I mean, she had a lot of screen time. There was a lot of emphasis. I mean, it was an hour and 5 minutes, I believe, 65-minute episode. I'd say she was in at least about 20-25 minutes, getting a lot of screen time. And then that leaves us with numero uno spot, Oz, 74%. I mean, when it focuses so much on him, like The Sopranos does with Tony, it would be pretty much impossible for it to be anyone else from the premiere, and that's what we're left with.
Yeah, I think Oz. I mean, the show's based around him. He's the main character, and I mean, he really was the standout from the opening episode. It's unfair to say take him out, because if you take him out, you're pretty much killing the entire show. But it'd be hard to imagine, I think, Oz or the Penguin without Oz. So I'm saying he's the best character.
He's saying he's the best character. You guys said he's the best character. I'm saying he's the best character. Can he continue? Episode 2 coming soon to the channel. Till then, peace.